Interview with the Vampire is an American thriller movie based in a book of Anne Rice. Starring Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Christian Slater, and Kirsten Dunst, the film was released in November 1994, receiving positive reviews and an Oscar nomination for the awards for Best Art Direction and Best Soundtrack. Kirsten Dunst was also nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. The film tells the story of Lois, Brad Pitt, a man who was turned into a vampire in the 18th century by Lestat, Tom Cruise. While Lestat believes that he gave Lois the greatest gift that can exist, he believes that he was in fact condemned to hell, with death being the only escape, while fear afflicts him. He spends his immortal life looking for another of his kind. Always reluctant to take the lives of human beings, Lois at first eats own animals. One day, however, he can't resist and bites a little girl, Claudia, Kirsten Dunst. Lestat, after discovering it, he became extremely excited, turning her into a vampire and giving her to Lois. Claudia and Lois become close friends, one being the other's reason to live. Claudia, however, is not happy, because she is doomed to an eternal childhood. Lestat, jealous of her relationship with Lois and also fed up with his existential crisis, ends up moving away from both and treating them worse and worse. Claudia considers that he is a waif to be eliminated, and then she murders him. To celebrate, she sets up a trip with Lois in search of more vampires. But just before boarding, to their surprise and panic, they discover that Lestat did not actually die. In Paris, Lois meets Armand, starring Antonio Banderas, who invites him to a vampire-only theater, which is also their home. There, the vampires ambush and murder Claudia and a newly transformed vampire, and arrest Lois in a coffin within a stone wall. Lois, after escaping his prison with Armand's help, sets the place on fire, killing all vampires except for Armand, who protects him for the daylight. At the end of the interview, Lois disappears from the apartment after Daniels asks to become a vampire, and Daniels runs away with the tapes, but unfortunately, Lestat appears in the back seat of his car and bites his neck, giving him the same option given to Lois years ago. Despite being an old movie and showing some editing errors, like another movie, I really enjoyed watching it. In direct conversation between Lois and Daniel, it is interesting to note that Lois speaks of superstition about vampires, such as the fact that it is necessary to stab them directly in the heart using a wooden stake in order to kill it.